Good evening, everyone. Today we have Toastmaster Chandrashekar, we have Toastmaster Smita Mishra, and we have Toastmaster Lucky to help us understand why Toastmasters, how Toastmasters. So let's begin with basic understanding of who are these people and how we are so related with Toastmasters. So let's with Toastmaster Chandrashekar sir. So when did you join Toastmasters and how was your journey till now?
Good evening. I joined Toastmasters in 2011. But if you talk about the journey really began a little before 2011 as a speechcrafter. So, for those of you who want to know a little more about Speechcraft, this is a couple of lines about it. Speechcraft is a crash course run by Toastmasters and run by clubs who basically encourage common people or general public to get a hands-on experience about what really goes on into Toastmasters clubs and meetings. So in 6 weeks to 8 weeks time, they bring you up to pace with basic elements of one, crafting a speech, getting rid of your stage fear, and trying to present your thoughts in a very structured and organized way. So I began my journey as a speech crafter, and then went on to become a member of a club in 2011, and I'm still a very much active Toastmaster as on 2019. And the journey, in one word, has been simply superb, extremely enriching, and I have learned every time I walked into a Toastmasters meeting.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, Toastmaster Smita Mishra, so how you started the journey and how was it like?
Oh, wow. I became a member in September 2015, and I had just moved to Hyderabad after my MBA, and I was part of Infosys Prakriti that time, which was the SEC campus in the outskirts of the city. And honestly speaking, I became a member because of course, I had a passion for oratory. I was a very good enthusiast when I was in my school and college days in terms of public speaking, debating, extempore, and all. So I definitely needed that platform to kind of continue. The second thing was I wanted to make friends. Because, like I said, I was very new to Hyderabad. I had no friends. I knew absolutely nobody in that campus, but it felt very comfortable being part of a group, a gathering once every week where it's like-minded people and you can bounce ideas of each other and you connect very naturally. So that's how it kind of began. Over the course of the last 4.5 years, my purpose or what I really seek from Toastmasters has evolved as well. When I started, I was just looking for friends and, of course, the platform to speak. But then over the years, I recognized that I also had the aspiration for leadership and building leadership. And I met some amazing mentors along the way. And 4.5 years later, still strong on the journey. I believe now, of course, things might again change considering, I've recently come across the world of contests, which I'm really loving. So I think every day has been very different from the previous one. Every day has been full of learning. And I'm very grateful to the fraternity of Toastmasters here. When I literally knew no one, I found a family. So that's how I would like to put it, yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Smita. Now, Toastmaster Lucky, how and when it started Toastmasters in your life?
So before I tell when it started, when I should tell you something. When I was in my 8th standard, there was an elocution competition which was held, and that was my first time I have enrolled for it. So I went on to the stage, looked at the audience, spoke nothing, broke down into tears, came back. Now from then till a few years back, I was just staying in my comfortable zone. And 10 years back, when I was working in Mysore in office, we get certain emails where it says, "Welcome to Toastmasters meeting." No idea about what it was basically, but since I got some time that day, I just went, attended, and just saw the few people who literally left certain impact on me. It reminded me those days where I went onto the stage and broken down into tears and living in my own comfort zone. And then it triggered me something like, yes, this is what I should explore now. So then that's where I saw that this is the thing which will definitely make the statement, the triggering point in my life. And then 10 years back, I joined Toastmasters in Mysore. And I was a Toastmaster for 1.5 years. And then I moved out of Mysore to Bangalore. And then due to personal commitments, I have to take a break. Came back Hyderabad. And then I thought that this is again the time that I have to start again. So that's where I started exploring clubs in Hyderabad. I had attended few club meetings and all. And then I started TCS Maitri Adipatla Toastmasters Club. And from there, I tell you, this period has been so exciting for me. And I would say that this has been a way of living for me.
Oh, good way of living. Good. So today Toastmasters is a wide and range community across the world. So can we know how and how it started?
Oh, okay. So see, Toastmasters per se is as old as time, I can say, because it is close to 100 years now. 1924, 22nd October was when it officially took the form and shape as Toastmasters International. But even much before that, maybe a year or two, Dr. Ralph Smedley was toying with this idea of giving a platform for youth and young people to explore abilities in public speaking and leadership. So that's how originally Toastmasters came into being. And talking about it today, like 90 years down the line, close to a centenary celebrations, Toastmasters is spread across 143 plus countries. The last time I checked, the membership was close to 3.5 lakh members. And I am more excited about Toastmasters in India, what Toastmasters has happened or done for people in our country, in my country. When I got in 2011, we were 2 districts.
Yes.
Pretty much that's it. So the entire country, the length and breadth of the country, 30 states and counting, had just 2 districts. But today, as we speak, we are 4 districts in operation, and we will be soon getting into 6 or 7 districts in the future. So that's the growth. So if I have to put it in numbers, I think in India we have close to 15,000 to 20,000, around that, between 15 to 20,000 members, active Toastmasters. And if you take a cumulative score, maybe easily close to 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh plus members who have been there and gone out for some personal reasons, but again come back. Like we have Lucky here, who's been a Toastmaster once upon a time, then kind of you take a break for your personal, private, professional reasons, and then you come back and then you rejoin and you live that. And he nicely put it, he said, it's a way of life. Yes. So Toastmasters has become a way of life for 143 plus countries.
Okay. So Toastmaster Smita, what exactly happens in a Toastmaster club?
Okay, so when we talk about a club, there is, of course, 2 tenets or 2 aspects of characteristics or behaviors that a member would tend to kind of develop on. The first one, of course, is the public speaking. Most of the projects, most of the speaking opportunities, they give a direction and a sense of purpose of building specific skills in public speaking. The other aspect is leadership building. So these are 2, and they kind of run hand in hand together. So in a club, there is a structure of a meeting. So when the club charters, they formalize a frequency of meeting. It could be either weekly, a fortnightly meeting, monthly basis, what they would require. But minimum, they need to have at least 12 meetings in a year. And every club meeting would have a specific structure to it. So this specific structure is uniform across all club meetings across the world. So what you experience in the US, what you experience in Japan, what you experience in India, it's the same consistent format. Would you like me to break down the structure of a meeting as well?
No, we'll come to that
later. Yeah. So primarily speaking, the 2 aspects that we're talking about, public speaking and leadership building. There are a lot of opportunities, and it being a voluntary organization, you need to be cognizant of your focus and your purpose of learning these skills and take these opportunities as and when they come across in your club.
Okay. So Toastmaster Lucky, as the language we use in Toastmasters Club is English, so most people have that misconception that it's an English speaking club. So how do you put it, like it's a communication skills development club more over than an English speaking club? So how can we justify that?
Well, people have this assumption, truly, to be very precise, because they only see English-speaking clubs nearby them. But to be very precise, it is not just the English-speaking club. It's, as you said, it's certainly a communication development platform. And we also have Hindi Toastmasters Club in our country. And also, we are going to start Telugu Toastmasters Club as well in Hyderabad. So it is not just limited to English language. It is limited to all other languages as well. The only thing that you rightly said, it is more on a communication platform.
Okay. A CEO of Jain Toddlers, so you recruit people and you work in an environment where you recruit people and at the same time they are going to educate the upcoming generation. So how exactly can Toastmasters help them come up with better communication skills?
Okay, so I think I would look at this in a broader perspective, not just with my organization. Yes, Toastmasters definitely helps teachers who encourage children to kind of explore their possibilities, and it will make them better communicators who can express their views and opinions in a more specific manner. But if I look at it from the broader perspective, Toastmasters gives every individual, you may be a teacher, you may be an IT professional, you may be an advocate, you may be a medical doctor or a practitioner, you may be in any profession. It helps you with the basic ability of connecting your thoughts to words with structure. Because see, what happens is there is nobody in this world who can speak something and think something else. It's not practical, it's not doable. Now, what Toastmasters will do is it helps you connect your thoughts to words and provide a structure. Now, what am I talking about in structure? Every speech has a beginning, body, and a conclusion, which we know as opening, closing. Now, what happens is everybody will open, everybody will close, but the transition between an opening to closing and making the point successfully from the point 1 to the point Z or 10, that's the connection which Toastmasters help. Now, put this back in the context of my organization. We run schools. As a teacher, if a teacher walks into a class and if she or he is able to connect the opening to the conclusion of that class in a structured manner, kids will benefit because they exactly know what happened and how the movement or the transformation is happening with respect to that subject or the concept. That is what Toastmasters will do. So my point will be, any individual, if you are in the business of thinking, you need Toastmasters.
Good, thank you, sir. So, Smita, so how many sorts of clubs we have, and if someone wants to join a club, so what is the process of joining a club?
So we currently support 3 formats of clubs. One is a corporate club, which is built within a corporate. For example, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, they all have clubs functioning within them. We also have college clubs, which start and run usually for the college community. And the third category is the community clubs, which are open to anybody from any walks of life. Usually the corporate clubs function in the weekdays because working hours. Community clubs would function on the weekends mostly, and college clubs could be at any point of time in the week. How to become a member? First thing we recommend is you attend a few clubs first. Primarily because we have had members in the past in my club as well who probably heard from someone, oh, you just can come and speak on anything and you can speak for whatever time you want. And we've had people walk up to us saying, yeah, I need that because I can't speak in front of my manager openly enough. So I want to come and rant here in the club. And we had to explain to that person that's not really what the club meeting is all about. So first recommendation, yes, attend a few meetings to understand the structure of the meeting that I was initially talking about. Second thing is the community or the people in the club also matters quite a bit. There have been people who, even though have a corporate club within their company that they're working in, prefer a community club. Could be because timing constraint will not allow them to be part of a weekly or weekday meeting, so they would prefer doing it on a weekend. Alternatively, it could also be because the group of people that they met in a community club, because they're from different walks of life, add more flavor to the meeting per se. So that is the point for why you should kind of go and visit a few clubs first. Second thing is, once you feel that yes, this is a platform which can benefit you and you have a clear understanding of the purpose of why you want to join, approach the VP membership of the club. Usually, if they are not present in the meeting, you can always talk to the presiding officer of that particular meeting and they can guide you to the right person. The process of membership is very, very smooth and very, very easy. You will be given a form to fill up, which goes on the records of the club, and the actual processing of the membership is done online. So it takes about 5 to 7 minutes of your time, which is what the speeches that we give in a regular meeting as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Toastmaster Lucky, is there any criteria that a member should fulfill before they join a club, like a guest? So if I visited your club as a guest and I have to join your club, so is there any age restrictions or criteria that I have to fulfill before I join a club?
To become a Toastmaster, when it comes to eligibility in terms of age criteria, you need to be 18 plus for Toastmaster. And there is another concept if you're below 18. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to become a part of any corporate club, let us suppose, but as Smita said, corporate clubs and community clubs, college clubs. So corporate clubs may have their own restrictions, like the club is meant only for the employees of that particular corporate. When you speak about, can I attend as a guest? Yes, you can attend as a guest. For that, you need to just speak to VP PR of the particular club, and you just need to go according to the corporate security restrictions that they have, go to the process, and you can go attend as a guest. To become a member, yes, if the company or the corporate club doesn't have any such restrictions, you can. But when it comes to community clubs, you can, again, if the community club does not have any such their own restrictions or the protocols that they follow, you can be.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, Toastmaster Chandrasekhar sir. So, I'm a student. So, I have so many things in my life. Like, I have to handle my project work, I have to handle my college hours. So, if I want to join a club, how many hours I have to put in per week so that I can actually best ripe the fruit of being a Toastmaster?
So you mean to say how many hours in a week?
Yes.
Okay. So since the question is specifically for students, I think the best way to look at it is do not quantify Toastmasters. Do not quantify Toastmasters. It is not adding to your internals. It is not adding to your report card or whatever it is. The way you should approach Toastmasters, especially if you are a student, is look at it as an investment for your future. Now, let me give you a simple example. Personally, I came across Toastmasters way back in my college days. That was in 2001, 2002, when my HOD and my principal introduced the concept of Toastmasters. I laughed at it. I said, how is Toastmasters going to help me clear my exams? And I also made a very arrogant statement saying, if you are teaching me public speaking does not happen inside a classroom. But I was wrong. But it took me 10 years to really realize that and also to come out of that kind of a bubble. 2011, when I actually joined Toastmasters, I joined for a purpose. And the purpose was, one, what I lost over a period of time. But more importantly, when I have invested my time in trying to achieve success in professional life, and it is taking it is making me do more efforts to get the desired results, I realize that I need to improve myself. I need to be up to scale or up to level in trying to get the success what I expect. That is where I said, okay, I need to be more presentable. I need to communicate effectively. And then Toastmasters came my way and I took it. So coming back, as a student, look at Toastmasters as an investment. Now, if you are spending the time in the same college, maybe sitting at the football ground or in the cafeteria, if you can substitute that same time, 30 to 40 minutes or 1 hour in a college during the Monday to Friday week, if you are able to put that as an investment for your future, why not?
Yes.
Not many colleges, as I speak, not many colleges have realized that. They look at it as a checklist item and they say, okay, we introduce Toastmasters. But students do not understand the purpose of it. But having said that, there are colleges, there are institutions of excellence who have Toastmasters. ISB has been having and patronizing Toastmasters for quite some time. I am told that IIM Ahmedabad is looking at Toastmasters for placement preparation and other things. I am also aware that some of the elite institutions like BITS or CBIT or some of the institutions in Hyderabad, in this part of the country, whether it is Vignan Institute or other colleges, they all, even the Triple IT, they all have Toastmasters. So the idea is look at it as an investment, and I really can't quantify, okay, you spend 2 hours in a week or 5 hours in a month and you are done. It's not that way.
Okay, thank you so much. So Toastmasters Smita. So once we come to a meeting, so what can we expect? What is the basic structure of a meeting and what all things we learn in that meeting?
So a particular meeting has generally 3 sections, very distinct sections within them. The first one is the prepared speeches section. The second is the table topics or the impromptu speaking. And the third is the evaluation section. Toastmaster works on a peer learning foundation. We learn from each other. So there is no trainer, there is no set specific guidance. You observe each other, you observe the best practices, and you learn from each other. So the evaluation section that works is basically, I observe you speaking and I will give you recommendations to get better. In the prepared speeches section, I believe we'll be talking a little bit in detail about the pathways in subsequent questions, but every paid member has access to some e-learning resources and certain projects with specific objectives. Now, no two members might have the same learning path, might not have the same learning projects, but more or less there is a consistency in terms of the approach that they have to take. And the speaking projects can be anywhere between 2 to 3 minutes to 8 to 10 minutes to even 20 to 40 minutes. Depends on the project that you are pursuing and the specific learning objective that you're trying to learn from that. Now, prepared speeches is only for the paid members, like I mentioned, because once you become a member, you have access to those e-learning resources. The impromptu section or the table topics is something which is open to the general public. So even guests can participate in that. And a topic will be given to you on the spot. I know we have a lot of very creative table topic masters who put a spin to how you can kind of speak on table topics. They will probably do a turncoat version of it where you have to speak for and against within the same minute. So creativity, of course, is completely open. You can go ahead with that. And the last section, which is the evaluation, like I mentioned, peer learning opportunity that everybody gets to observe the good things that a particular speaker did and things that can be improved. We don't say you did things badly. We say scope of improvement. And even if it's a world-class international speaker, if they come and attend a Toastmasters meeting, even their speech will also get an evaluation about things that they can improve. So literally, there is nobody who is considered perfect on the platform that we have. Having said that, these meetings also kind of involve some sort of themes to kind of keep things interesting. So I have attended meetings with poetry as themes, with Harry Potter as themes, with Christmas as themes of most recently, where people actually turned up in Christmas wear, so which was pretty innovative. So this is how the meetings usually last. So considering how much you want to kind of pack into a meeting can last anywhere from 1 hour to 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Thank you, Smita. So now we are talking about the scenarios in which our town has a club and we are attending it. So what if our town or the place I'm residing doesn't have a club, at least nearby, at least 25 kilometers? So how can exactly we can start a club and whom should we get in touch with? If I have a club around, how I would get to know that we have a club around us?
Okay. Simple answer for the question to know where exactly the nearby club exists. On toastmasters.org, you have a column called Find a Club. Now, the moment you give the area or something, you spot it out, it will show you the clubs nearby. For example, when you give 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers of radius or diameter, it will show you that the clubs exist in that particular thing. In case you do not have a club in your town, not nearby, somewhere around 50 to 60 kilometers, you can get some information about the clubs which are away more than 60 kilometers. It just, you need to get the contact number of any of the member of the clubs. You call them and they will help you out on how to start a club. Now, to start a club, since it is all about public speaking, you need public versus the members. So to start a club, you need to have 20 minimum members to start a club. And if you think that you have formed a group of 20 members who are like-minded and who are interested to develop something like the public speaking or the communication or the leadership qualities, then you have a process which is called chartering process. You just need to fill a few forms and then you submit to Toastmasters International, then your club is formed.
Okay, thank you so much. So now, Toastmaster Chandra sir, I have joined the club. Now I'm pretty new to this club and I can see my peers are going in at rocket speed. And who is going to help me in this? The basic steps, baby steps, who is going to help me? So I heard someone called Club Mentor. So is it does that club provide it for me, or shall I search for someone online for being, to be a mentee to someone? So how is this process works?
Yeah, I mean, let's remove the tension about Toastmasters first. It's not as sequential as we are discussing here. It's not that, okay, you want to improve, then you must have failed in your school days, and then you come across Toastmasters, and then the club, you search online, and that's all there. It happens in kind of a very synchronized manner. It does not happen in a sequential manner. Now, having said that, coming to this point when you said that, okay, I've joined the club and members are jetting across at rocket speed, and how do we catch up with them? You don't have to catch up. In Toastmasters, we don't play this game of catch me if you can. We don't.
True.
What we are focusing on is, number one, it's a platform for all of us with a safety net. Now, can you imagine a circus where there is a net below and people are performing, gymnastics and kind of a lot of stunts above the air? Why are they doing it? One, they are trained. Two, they love it. And three, they know that they have a safety net below, that in case they fail, they don't hit the ground. That's Toastmasters. One, you love it. Two, you are trained. And three, you know that there is a safety net. The club provides you with the safety net where you are allowed to fail. I repeat, you are allowed to fail. Now, in that environment, if I join as a member, absolutely okay. Because I know of some friends who were in Toastmasters even much before I joined, that is 2011, but they haven't, in your language, caught up with me at jet speed. So in Toastmasters, we say distinguished Toastmasters is like the final goal you can achieve. But these people are in Toastmasters for 18 years, 20 years, and they have not even become DTM. And they're absolutely okay with it. And I am absolutely okay with that.
Yes.
So there's no comparison here.
Okay.
The second part, which is how are we helped when I become a member?
Yeah.
Structurally, the club has a VP education. And it is a VP education or Vice President education, as you want to know it. That person, whoever is taking that responsibility, is entitled to provide support system for a member, for all members, new, old, veteran, whatever. So for all members. That's the structure. The club itself provides you the structure, and you are brought up to pace in terms of when you will give your first speech or when do you want to take your first leadership role and other things. But the best part about Toastmasters is the emotional context with which we work. That is where mentoring comes into play. Now, mentoring is a place or is a kind of a system or a setup where you have somebody with whom you can voice your feelings, and more importantly, you can voice out your fears. And that's the most important thing. And every member has access to a mentor Maybe your friend, your childhood friend, your neighbor, coming from the same company or from the same locality, or absolutely a stranger, but you just felt that you can actually work with that person and like and learn how to grow. So if you want to remember, in Toastmasters, the structure itself provides you with VP education, and the club per se provides you with an emotional support in a mentor. That's how members can grow and also keep going in Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Chandra. Now, Smita, so we joined Toastmasters and we are there. So we heard about this World Championship of Public Speaking. So what are all this concept of contests? So how many contests we have and what is this basic concept?
A very bittersweet moment for me right now. So considering everybody is learning on this platform, they are all learning different skills of speaking, different skills of leadership. There are some members who emerge as naturally a little better maybe than the rest of the cohort. Contest is a platform which encourages people to kind of participate and showcase the next level of talent that they have built on over the course of time. I know for a fact that there were some members in my club who are very recent members, very recent to Toastmasters, but maybe who had the experience of competing in, say, debates or elocutions during their school and college times and had a natural flair for speaking. Mm-hmm. So they had a ready-made platform available for them to kind of go and test it out. So that's in a very layman's term how contests work. So there are 5 formats of contests that Toastmaster International supports, and it is at the discretion of every district as to which contests they would allow in that particular Toastmaster year. So again, the ordering of the contest is also at the discretion of the district, which the district officers kind of decide. I will not go in too much into that detail right now. So the 5 categories of contests, we have humorous speech contest, where the skill is to speak in a humorous manner. We have speech evaluation contest, which, like I mentioned about the speech evaluation segment in our regular meetings. So you have a test speaker who will give a particular speech, and the participants or the contestants will evaluate that common speech. We have something called the table topics speech. Again, if we go back to the meeting structure, we have the impromptu section. So table topics is a contest for that. We have the tall tales contest, which is, if I may put it very simply, it's an exaggeration contest of sorts. Yes. So you have to build a tale and exaggerate it as much as possible. Logic and common sense plays no role there. The 5th category of contest, and which should answer your question about the World Championship, is the International Speech Contest. So International Speech Contest is the only one which goes through different rounds of iteration and progression. That is the only one which culminates at an international platform. All the rest of the contests which I spoke about, they will start at the club level and they will progress one level up to area, to division, and it'll all culminate at the district level. But the speech contest is the only one which goes after the district or the national level, which is over. It'll go to the regional level, which is kind of a few countries together. And beyond that, it'll go to the international level. So contestants or people who like to contest or like to participate in these contests, that is like the ultimate aspiration of glory, if you might want to call it.
Yes.
Because as an international speech champion, it brings about a lot of confidence, I would say. It brings about a lot of recognition to your club, your district, which part of the country are you representing. And of course, it's a matter of pride. You know, when somebody from our district goes, there is so much of enthusiasm around that. So I believe contest is a fantastic opportunity in that way. We are all sitting in the middle of a contest season right now as well. And it's an opportunity to kind of prove yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. So Toastmaster Lucky, everyone have their own personal commitments and own timelines. So I joined Toastmasters in, a time where I don't have much work, or it is in the beginning of the semester. And as I go, my workload was improving, and, I have to take off a little bit from Toastmasters. So can I join back? And do I have to follow the procedure of entire membership joining, or is there any specific procedure which actually have a shortcut for me to join back into Toastmasters?
So my first answers you this question also.
Yes.
Now, there is a statement. Once you are a Toastmaster, you are a Toastmaster for your lifetime. The only difference is active and non-active. Now, because of your personal commitments or something, you took a break and you wanted to come back. It might be because you want to excel in your life or become better, or you have time or something. You can come back anytime. There is no stringent process. Rather, simply, you just need to find out which club you wanted to go back again and just speak to the membership, and your process is done.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
It sounds very simple. So thank you so much for being here today. We had fantastic speakers. I thank on behalf of Division EFGH PR team. Thank you, Chandra sir. Thank you,
Thank
Smita.
you.
And thank you, Lucky.
Thank you.
Have a nice time, guys.
Thank you.